Joining me now is Devin Nunes, House Intel Ranking Member. Also here is Matt Gaetz and Andy Biggs. Both are members of the House Judiciary Committee. Congressman Nunes, how concerning is it that the State Department and the NSC are still teaming with these kind of deep state bureaucrats who are working against the president's agenda?
Welcome to my life the last 3 years. You have to get up every day and you have to pound away until you get the answers. One of the things that has to happen that should be perfectly clear now is that NSC needs to be completely removed from the White House and quarantined on the other side of the Potomac River somewhere until they can find out where the leaks are coming from.
I mean, Matt Gaetz, Alexander Vindman, we salute his service to the country, of course. NSC staffer, was a star witness in the House impeachment trial. But when you really boil it all down, he just didn't like the president's policy. Or thought of a policy toward Ukraine, right? He was irked.
I think it's really important for the defense to provide that framework where all of the evidence can essentially be put into one of three buckets. Either it's hearsay, it's speculation and presumption, or as you just described, it is a legitimate policy disagreement that is fundamentally not impeachable. I think the defense team should have dealt with the Bolton issues on the front end of today. But if you look at the work that Pam Bondi did, describing the illegitimate sleaziness of the Hunter Biden deal, it renders the entire Bolton testimony insignificant because the president was right to ask these questions.
Congressman Biggs, is there no doubt that the White House still has a problem with this NSC? And the fact that we have individuals who take it upon themselves, like Lieutenant Colonel Vindman, to speak to the Ukrainian government on our behalf, saying, oh, well, don't get involved in this because that's not your doing. I mean, he's not the president of the United States. You know, newsflash to Lieutenant Colonel Vindman. God bless him, but he's not the president of the United States.
That's exactly right. And that's consistent. It's a type of what we've seen since President Trump has been in office, and that is the deep state biting back. So when Schumer said, you know, the intelligence community has 6 ways to come after you, this is just one more example of that. And Vindman is just in my opinion, he's the ultimate leaker. He's just the prototypical leaker, and he's got to go. And the president needs to get people in that he can trust. There's nobody there he can really trust right now.
Well, the Ukrainian government apparently trusted him. They wanted him to become defense minister. I mean, that's it. I hope that's going to be discussed at some point. Yeah. There was one moment tonight Dershowitz was fabulous tonight. But there was one moment tonight where he talked about this issue that we're all chatting about, which is the deep policy differences between the establishment GOP, establishment period, and Trump's America First approach. Watch.
I disagree with our president's climate change policy, as I do with many of his other policies. But that's not a criteria for impeachment. That's a criteria for deciding who you're going to vote for.
Congressman Nunes, is that not the rub here? Policy differences led to this impeachment.
Well, it's even more nefarious than that, okay? Let's not forget. ICIG, the only transcript we don't have is the Inspector General that shifted and released. We have no idea what Schiff's involvement was with this whistleblower who didn't even have firsthand knowledge, who didn't even acknowledge to the ICIG that he had that knowledge. So this is a creation. After Adam Schiff flamed out with the Russia hoax, they invented this new hoax. That's why we're here. It's even not even a policy disagreement.
It's not clear that
they just don't like the president.
Can't be impeached, by the way. It's not clear that they cannot be impeached.
Well, they can be removed.
They can be removed from office. But I think Adam Schiff has perpetrated one of the greatest frauds on the American people.
Can we at least remove him from the Gang of Eight? I mean, right now, folks like Andy and I have to rely on members of the Gang of Eight to share with us intelligence to make important policy decisions about the country. Adam Schiff lied when he misrepresented the transcript. He lied when he said there was more than circumstantial evidence on the Russia probe. And he has been lying for days on the floor of the United States Senate.
There's something that happened on Saturday during the defense's opening arguments. It was commentary afterward on CNN, and it was by Jeff Toobin, who is their legal analyst. And when he saw Pat Cipollone and all the other lawyers get up and speak, he decided to focus on this.
White House and white people. I mean, you know, this is a lesson in the diversity of the two parties. I mean, you look at the House managers, it was almost evenly divided between men and women. You had 2 African Americans, you had a Hispanic. I mean, you know, look, it was all white men today.
Congressman Biggs, all white men.
You know, That is such a specious, fallacious argument. It is so tangential to what we're doing here. We're talking about impeaching the President of the United States that 63 million people voted for. We're talking about a case that has no evidence. We're talking about an invalid impeachment. And
But no, they're talking about the election. That's what I'm trying to get you to all focus on.
Yeah.
They're talking about election.
Yep.
They're using diversity politics, Congressman
right.
Nunes, to ram this into the Republicans' face and say, see, they don't represent America.
Well, this is what
we are the united, impeachment panel of Benetton.
They're all about identity politics. That's all they've been about. They're not about actual issues, and that's what they've been trying to do, is just try to remove this president based on their identity politics, because they're bankrupt, and they're kind of like they're the party, like the dog that caught the car, right? Because now Bernie Sanders is in the lead. Bernie Sanders, who is a socialist, isn't even a Democrat, could be their nominee.
Congressman Gates.
I don't know that Jeffrey Toobin is a legal analyst more than he is a professional eye roller for CNN. But even Toobin today had to acknowledge how effective Pam Bondi was in highlighting the president's legitimate questions about Burisma and about Hunter Biden. As it relates to identity, I don't know if he thinks our case would be more persuasive if we had like an Indian and a construction worker and just had the village people presenting the president's defense.
Now that would at least be entertaining. All right.
Perhaps.
It's great to see all of you tonight. Thanks so much for coming in.